In this video, we're going to review logging into PowerDMS and go over some very general orientation of PowerDMS to include showing where you can find the PowerDMS help resources. And then we're also going to take a very quick look at the CALIA website and to where to find an additional resource on using the website. And finally, introduce CALIA's information management and reporting system that we often refer to as SIMMers. As a new accreditation manager, you're going to want to make sure that you have access and go ahead and log in once you get that invitation to log into SIMMers. So again, just in general, covering some PowerDMS orientation, very high level, making sure you know how to access the PowerDMS resources as well as CALIA resources. And then I want to just touch on, as a CALIA client, the PowerDMS licenses that you receive with that relationship and as a CALIA client, and then making sure that you have the SIMMers accessed. If you ever have questions on how to use PowerDMS, and you're not able to find your answer using the resources that I'll mention today, please reach out to PowerDMS support through their email or their phone number, and also use your regional program manager. They're also going to be a very good resource. I'm going to navigate away just from this intro PowerPoint, and we're going to start by going to the CALIA website and to the PowerDMS website. So those are the places we're going to start: PowerDMS.com and CALIA.org. Starting with PowerDMS. If you are a new CALIA client that has not used PowerDMS in the past, you will be receiving information from PowerDMS on how to access your site. If you're a new CALIA client or a new accreditation manager that currently uses PowerDMS, then you're going to utilize your existing PowerDMS site. PowerDMS will turn on the additional tools within your existing PowerDMS site, and this is probably going to include the electronic standards manual subscriptions as well as that assessment tool. You are required to use the PowerDMS electronic assessment tool as a part of your CALIA accreditation process. So from here, I'm at PowerDMS.com. You can always log in from PowerDMS.com. I'm going to use this login and use the first option of logging in. It's going to take me to a PowerDMS site. I'm just going to click Change Site to start from there. From here, the site key is something that you'll obtain from PowerDMS, and that site key is unique. So each agency has its own. You should have a username and password or be prompted to set up your password. Get logged in. Now the permissions and what you see in a site is going to vary on excuse me, let me repeat that. What you see within a PowerDMS site is going to potentially vary depending on the permissions and the different features within PowerDMS that you may or may not have. Some things are always going to be similar, and then some things are going to vary. If you do not see something that you think that you should see, you may have to reach out to a PowerDMS administrator within your own organization to have your permissions adjusted. PowerDMS support can often provide guidance on how to adjust those permissions, but your agency administrator will need to be the one who makes those specific updates. And most of the time, that's going to be for a new accreditation manager coming into process that's already been existing, and just making sure that you have those new permissions. All right, just making sure that I'm logged in here. I've logged in with my site key, my username and password. If you've not received your initial login information as a brand new Kalia client, again, you should receive that from PowerDMS. But if you do not receive that within a few days of your initial enrollment, please reach out to your program manager. It should not take very long at all. So once we're logged in, just some general orientation. Everyone should see a Find Anything. Also keep in mind that there's an advanced search underneath. In the very upper left-hand corner, I have a home. I can always get back to this page by clicking this home button. This icon stands for bookmarks. As you work through your Power DMS, you'll have the opportunity to bookmark certain things. That's up to you. The filing cabinet is what gives me this table of contents here. So documents, standards, manuals, and assessments, minimally, you should see those icons. The head and shoulders is to manage users and groups. And then this is the reports tab. And if I hover over it, it reads reports. It's titled analytics here. For the purposes of the assessment, later on, we'll talk about standards and how to run a report under standards. You may or may not see Content Hub. Again, it's going to be dependent on what you're subscribed to. So I'm going to navigate back to the table of contents by clicking on that filing cabinet. So I get this table of contents here. Across the top, everyone has an inbox. You may or may not see new. You should probably see new as accreditation manager. Everyone should see help, and the help resources that you see are going to be dependent on your permissions. So starting with a help and using the PowerDMS help resources, PowerDMS offers what they call PowerDMS University. Those are some self-paced courses. And then they also offer Success Community. I'm going to start by opening the Success Community, but take a look at the university and again what you may or may not have access to. Again, if you ever have questions, want to make sure that you have access to something that you think that you should, maybe you're not, you can always reach out to PowerDMS support. Once I open the Success Community, though, I can often use the search bar, or if you're just getting started and you don't really know what to search for, you might want to start with Quick Help. If I click on Quick Help, a good place to start for standards and assessments is Quick Help for Power Standards. And once I go there, you can start to navigate through here and see that there's lots of existing resources to include this 8-part series on videos, other resources. So just know that it's there, and again, start to navigate around. I'm going to go back to home. Also, there's some information and some resources on just how to use the Success Community. So lots of information there. Going When you click on Help and Success Community, now that opens into a new tab, so I can go back to my PowerDMS site by clicking on this tab here. Just kind of working my way across, you'll see there's a to-do box here. A dashboard is going to be dependent on your permissions. I've got this icon here, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how you can edit this. If I hover over my name in the upper right-hand corner where it reads Welcome, there's the administration menu, and we're going to navigate to that. And then also I just want to point out the site key. If you're ever unsure or forget what your site key is because maybe it's set up for it just to remember for your site, you can find out what that unique site key or site ID is right here. I point that out because in the future, when you're setting up other users to access your site, it might be a mock assessor, it might be a CALIA compliant service member or CSM or a CALIA site-based assessor. When you provide them their username and password, you'll also need to provide your site key so they can access your site. I'm going to go ahead and click on administration menu. If you do not see administration menu, that's okay. You might not need access, but or it might be that you do need access and you need to get with your administrator to give you permissions here, or navigate or coordinate with that administrator for what you need. But I'm going to go ahead and click on administration menu. Just a few things here to point this out. I'm going to minimize this a little bit. and expand settings. Under home page, this is where you could enter or upload your unique agency logo if you'd like to. You can even change the title of your home page. So again, you can't really hurt anything. Go ahead and click around and navigate. Under licensing with the CALIA PowerDMS agreement, when you enter into the CALIA process, PowerDMS should turn on for you 5 user licenses and 1 assessment license. So under licensing, you can see how many of those you consumed so far, how many you have left. 5 folks within your organization can have their own unique username and password. 1 assessment license, you can only have 1 open assessment at any given time. For the purposes of CALIA, it might be that you're involved in other accreditation processes and maybe you have more than 1 assessment license, but click on licensing to see that. And then in a separate video, we're going to take a look at standards manual communities and how to actually subscribe. So that's just the very first general orientation to PowerDMS. Again, we'll go into standards manuals and assessments in separate videos. But in addition to accessing and starting to become familiar with your PowerDMS site, I would encourage you to also log in to the CALIA website. So I'm going to open a new tab and go to calia.org just to start here. I would encourage you to create a login if you've not done that, but rather than go through all of this, there's already a really great resource that we delivered as a webinar a while back. So I want to show you how to access that webinar to make sure that you know how to use all of the resources available on the website. In the very upper right-hand corner, I'm going to click on the menu and then under education and then webinars. This very first webinar titled CALIA Resources for Managing the Accreditation Process, I would encourage you to watch that webinar and it will go into all of the details of all of the resources that you can find within the CALIA website, as well as some of the resources from PowerDMS. Okay, finally, if you're a new accreditation manager, whether you're a new CALIA client or existing CALIA client, but new accreditation manager, you're going to want to make sure that you have access to CALIA's information and management reporting system. You're going to hear that referred to as SIMMers. So if you're a new accreditation manager, you'll receive an invitation from SIMMers. It'll come from SIMMers for you to set up your password. Sometimes, because this is a system generated email, it can go to spam or junk. So, be on the lookout for that. If you don't see it, reach out to your regional program manager, your CALIA regional program manager, and we can maybe troubleshoot and try to get you into that. But you'll have to set up your access. Once you have access, then you always have access. But I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm just going to go to a sample agency here. So again, permissions are going to vary depending on your perspective as accreditation manager. CEOs have their own login. They're going to see a few different things, but details, statistics, you're going to be able to enter in information about your organization. The statistics, sometimes referred to as data tables, you'll be able to enter that information in. You'll see an assessment tab. You may see reports. Agency status report is only for re-accreditation, but mostly for just for now, I just want to make sure that you know that this exists and that as an accreditation manager, you should have access. Once you have access, again, always have access, even though there's certain times when you won't be able to edit information or once the next year is open, things like that, you can't go back and edit past information, but just know that it's here and that it's available to you. Again, Regional Program Manager is a really great resource. In addition to that, making sure that you also use the PowerDMS resources under the help. And then if needed, support at powerdms.com or the support number, and they can assist you as well.